What's up guys, M3PRT here. So a few days ago I got the latest 2020.8.3 software update for my Tesla, and now we're going to do a deep dive into some of its coolest new features. So let's get started. When you get a new update on your Tesla, you can check the release notes to see all the new features that were added. If you're looking for more information on this, be sure to check out my Tesla software update overview video linked in the description. With the latest 2020.8.3 update, you can see that one of the biggest features are the new driving visualization improvements for Autopilot. Tesla say that the car can now display stoplights, stop signs, and select road markings, so let's check it out. So before this update, it's important to note that Autopilot was already able to detect things like lane markings, pedestrians, cyclists, traffic cones, and other vehicles. And if you've seen my full self-driving overview video, then you'll see examples of each of those things. The first difference I've noticed with the new update is that it can now detect rubbish bins. I'm not really sure why Tesla considered the detection of bins a priority, but there you go. As we continue along the journey, you can see that I passed a number of road signs, like a cattle crossing sign, sharp bend sign, junction sign, no overtaking and road widening sign, and a bendy road sign, yet none of these were detected by the system. As we come into the city, Autopilot still does not pick up the keep left signs. As we approach the bus stop, Autopilot also fails to detect the lane markings outlining the stop area, and later at the roundabout it misreads the lane markings and fails to detect the yield sign. So, nothing amazing so far, but now we're coming on to the good stuff. Coming out of this housing estate, you can see that Autopilot correctly detects the stop sign, and also reads the stop lettering on the road. Further down the road, as we make our turn off, you can see that it detects the lane arrows and the traffic lights in the distance. Next up, we're approaching a complex junction with a number of different traffic lights. You can see that it detects all the traffic lights and signals correctly, although when the lights go out of view of the front-facing cameras, it does seem to lose track of them, which may cause problems if there aren't any secondary lights, as there are in this case. Once the lights turn green, the update is reflected on the visualization in accordance. One important thing to note about all this is that the car itself will not react to things like a stop sign or a red traffic light at the moment, so please don't expect Autopilot to do that for you. Again, at the next junction, you can see that it detects all of the traffic lights, and in this case it even detects the green directional arrows in the traffic lights, which is quite impressive. At this pedestrian crossing, you can see that the car does not detect the crossing, and it also doesn't seem to detect the pedestrians until they're right in front of the car, which is a little disconcerting. As you can see here, it still cannot handle roundabouts, as it totally loses track of the lane markings on the roundabout until you get back onto the straight road. Finally, as we approach the motorway, you can see once again that it is able to successfully detect all of the traffic lights. Once you're on the motorway, the functionality of auto lane change and navigate on Autopilot remains unchanged from the previous update, and you still need to provide double confirmation of suggested lane changes by applying the indicator and applying force to the steering wheel in the direction you want to travel. So, rubbish bins, stop signs, certain lane markings and traffic lights are all the new features included in the full self-driving preview. To enable these features, just make sure that you switch on the full self-driving visualization preview in the settings. The next new feature is track mode improvements. Track mode is a feature that's unique to the Model 3 performance, and with the latest update it gives you even more control over the driving dynamics of the car. If you go into driving and scroll down to track mode, you can now customize up to 20 different profiles that describe how you want the car to behave. This includes the ability to divert up to 100% of the power to the front or rear wheels, and the option to reduce or even switch off the traction control and regenerative braking systems. There are also options to enable the battery cooling system to remain on after you exit the vehicle, such that the battery is maintained at an optimal temperature to support peak driving performance between brakes. You can even overclock the compressor to provide more rapid cooling of the battery pack if you're really pushing the car to its limits on the track. Additionally, they also added the ability to record your laps using the Autopilot cameras, so you can watch them later with your friends. When you enable track mode, the first thing you'll notice is the sound of the cooling compressor spooling up, which immediately makes the car feel a bit more badass. The next thing you'll note is that the driver information display changes to provide real-time monitoring of the temperature of the battery pack, motors, brakes and tyres. You'll also see a G-meter, which lets you track the G-forces you experience when accelerating or going around sharp turns, and a set finish line option where you can mark the start and end point of a track to record lap times. And if all that wasn't enough, you can also export your driving data to a file on your connected memory stick, so you can review your driving information down to the most minute of details. So those are the two biggest features that came with the 2020.8.3 update. Other smaller changes included the addition of third-party charging stations to the Maps application, but this hasn't been enabled in Ireland or the UK yet. At the moment, you can only see Tesla destination chargers and superchargers on the map, so once they add third-party chargers, you'll be able to see public chargers, such as those provided by the ESB as well. They also improved the voice command reliability, which is always good, and added some new language support. So that's it for today's video. I hope you found it useful and informative, and if so, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more Tesla videos. As always, if you have any questions or suggestions, be sure to let me know in the comments, and until then, I'll see you in the next one.